Hey folks, here's a quick itinerary on how we did 7 distilleries in 3 days. Woodford, Four Roses, Bardstown, Buffalo Trace, Angel's Envy, Wild Turkey, and Jim Beam. We decided to do our first stop at the Fraser Museum, which is in downtown Louisville. They claim that that is the start of the Bourbon Trail. They have tons of great things in this museum, so if you get a chance to book it, we booked the experience on how to make old fashions. We did that upstairs. It does cover the entrance to the actual museum, which is pretty great, but our tour guide Candy was amazing. Probably one of the best old fashions I've ever had, and the class is pretty quick, sweet and to the point, and she was very awesome as far as the information she gave on Whiskey Row. So really cool experience. If you get a chance to do that, I'd highly suggest it. On that third floor, there is also a speakeasy, which we couldn't partake in because they had a private event, but coming back here, I would totally look into that. This is all in Louisville, which we went ahead and stayed in for a day and a half. Followed after that, we went into Whiskey Row. They have a location for Angel's Envy, which if you get a chance to experience that, they bottle all of their product directly from here, so it is the home distillery to them. The tour that we decided to do, which is an overall how-to with Angel's Envy and a tasting at the end, which they go ahead and provide 2 to 3 of their products along with 2 pieces of chocolate. And overall, the experience is pretty neat. You learn how to make bourbon, or how they particularly make it. And these big containers that you see here, they went ahead and gave us a taste. It's kind of, I think they call it beer chew or something of that nature. It tastes kind of like a warm cornmeal, a boozy one. But it was so nice there. The class itself was pretty great. I learned a lot and can't wait to come back there.
I think here is where I learned that I'm a rye whiskey drinker.
After the class, we went ahead and they have a really cool bar upstairs. If you get a chance to partake in any beverages there, you'll find that it's probably going to be one of the coolest experiences that you can do in that Whiskey Row location. Arts Eatable is in downtown Louisville. We had these orange chimers. And along with Whiskey Row, you're going to find there's a lot of distilleries. So this is Bardstown Distillery. This is not the actual distillery. This is just a bar that they have downtown. Then we made our way to the Brown Hotel, where we had the hot brown. So if you're in Louisville, they're known for their hot browns. And it was amazing. We did a half portion just because we had been eating all day, but and we also tried the Derby pie. I mean, if you have a chance to try it, I mean, if there's anywhere to try it, I would say it's there. It is phenomenal. So it's kind of like a pecan pie and a brownie had a baby. I don't know how to explain it, but if you get a chance to taste it, top 10 for sure. Then we hopped on our ride and continued our tour in Louisville. The next morning, we found a really great place called Big Bad Breakfast. It was on our way to Lexington, and honestly, I think this was one of the better breakfast experiences we had. John had the chicken and waffles, and I went ahead and had biscuits and gravy and a complete breakfast. So driving after that, we went ahead and headed into some distilleries into that Bardstown location. First one was the Woodford Reserve, which was a beautiful property. And if you get a chance to book something there, we were celebrating our anniversary, so they were kind enough to give us a gift. And we went ahead and partaked in their full distillery tour, which was a little different than even Angel's Envy because they're very old school. They distill completely different than a lot of the distilleries out there. But overall, it's probably like our favorite one to go visit. So Woodford was one of the very ones that we went ahead and did at the beginning, and can't wait to go back. Yeah, it was really beautiful there.
So far we did Angel's Envy and Woodford Reserve as far as distilleries.
Watching these barrels move, I mean, they literally roll these out, and there's nothing rolling these things. Their rick houses are legit. They literally smell like bourbon in there. It's nothing to regret, but it is a beautiful experience. And we ended it with a tasting, which was phenomenal. So after leaving the afternoon there, because we had a book tour, we went ahead and took a drive over to Buffalo Trace, which is very popular, guys. So if you get a chance to book Buffalo Trace, try to do that with 3 to 4 months in advance. And then after that, I would say try to snag on to one of their bottles. The Blantons are really popular. We happened to be going in for the tastings, so we were able to book one of those. Blanton's was part of the tastings, and we were able to snag up 2 bottles because it was the bottle of the day. Here you'll find some classic barbecue from City Barbecue. And then we made our way the next morning over in Four Roses. This is part of Bardstown. We went ahead and booked a tasting at 9 in the morning here. Probably one of the better properties to visit. It was very beautiful. We didn't buy any bottles here. I don't think that we were too much of a fan, but it was definitely a nice experience to have. And if we had to come back, I would say we would come back for just the drinks at the bar, which were really good. But their class itself was pretty neat, just a classic tasting. And then we made our way over to Wild Turkey, which I think out of all the 7 distilleries, I would say Buffalo Trace, Wild Turkey was awesome. Woodford Reserve, those are probably our top 3. Theirs is a very iconic building, really clean looking. They have a bar in the back that does tastings in case you can't snag one of their tours. But this is definitely one of those places that I would come and spend the afternoon. If it wasn't because we were trying to cram in 4 distilleries in one day, I think we would have hung out here for a little bit. They have a nice back porch patio with a fireplace, and their tastings were really, really good. After that, we went ahead and made our way over to Bardstown Distillery, which is also in that Bardstown area. We not only enjoyed the facility and everything that it had to offer, like the tour, but we also booked a lunch at their restaurant, which was worth every penny. The thieving experience is what we booked at Bardstown, and went ahead and enjoy some drinks, which they encourage before you go to do your experience. So here you're going to find us walking into one of their newer rick houses, which is all glass in the front. Very beautiful, guys. And we did the thieving experience. So as you can see here, the guide will grab a barrel. It'll be sitting there, honestly, and they go ahead and start pouring directly from the barrels at different aging processes. So the tastes are completely different, and it is just out of this world experience. So because there are so many different distilleries and you're doing similar situations, right? You're tasting, I would say try to book a different experience at each one. So where we did, an old fashioned class on one or a mixology course, then we went ahead and did like a whole experience as far as how do you make the bourbon. Here we did the thieving experience. So if you can book something different at each one, I'd highly suggest it. Moving on to our last distillery, it's the James Bean Distilling Company. We went ahead and booked a tasting upstairs that day, but it was our 4th distillery, so we were pretty tired. But so overall, what I would suggest is book your tours with time. We would always come back to Kentucky in a blink of an eye, but we would book Wednesday through Saturday and book different experience at different distilleries so that you're not having the same tour repetitively. And something else we would probably do is look into maybe booking speakeasies and things like that. We didn't get a chance to do any of that. The food was really spot on, and next time we want to go to the Talbot Tavern, which we didn't get a chance to do, but we left home with a lot of goodies.